Today we have the story of a season which turned out quite well, but at one point looked like we might be in a relegation battle at the bottom of League One. Welcome. Hello and welcome to episode 68 of To Be a Legend. My name is Mark, and on today's episode, of course, it is our end of season review and transfer special. As we finished second in the Sky Bet League One, we will look at that and do a deep dive in just a few moments from now. The playoffs have been going on. Ipswich Town will play Derby County in the League One playoffs to see who comes up with ourselves and Bristol City. But confirmation of the table. In fact, let's do this. Confirmation of the table then. As I say, we will do a deep dive in here in a short while. But Bristol City winning the League One Championship. We were second on 82 points. They won it with 93 points, 11 points clear of us. Bristol Rovers in third on 80 points, then came Ipswich Town on 79. Preston fifth on 79. Derby County sixth on 78. So all very close at the top there. Not more than 4 points separating them. And Wigan, in fact, 4 points. Well, what about 2 points? No, 4 points to us, yes. And 6 points Wigan just outside. So as you see, that top, those playoff places, very, very close indeed. Being relegated are Bradford, Port Vale, Crawley Town and Sutton United. They're the teams going down. We'll do a deep dive in there after we've had our end of season review. But just go back to have a quick look over the season. And I think realistically, this bit here from about the start of October, start of October, we had an unbeaten run until we got down to Bristol Rovers, who'd beaten us earlier in the season, as it turned out. Bristol Rovers, where are we? Whoa. No, it was a 0-0 draw. So through to the Bristol Rovers game, we were unbeaten in the league. In fact, unbeaten in all competitions. And that sort of like put a little bit of brakes on. We hit a little bit of a rough spot. Obviously still winning games in between here and so on. We'll when we look at the table, we'll be able to see how that all fits in with our sort of climb up the table. But I suspect that was our low point around about the end of September against Preston, a 2-0 loss. And then we picked up some. Formation we changed took a little while to grab in, but when it did, and then we seemed to hit a bit of a rough patch again, then changed to the 4-2-3-1 wide, and that seemed to do okay. And then we changed back to a 4-3-3-2 defensive midfielders, and that seemed to be okay as well. And that's how we finished up the season. But this bit here was down to a 4-2-3-1 wide, where we seemed to be able to exploit teams quite well in most of the games. So the odd one there, draws of course, but they were against biggish sides until it all went a bit pear-shaped there. Anyway, that's how we did. Let's go and have a look then at the review of the season and have a look at how we got to where we got. Here is the review of the season for 2025-26. And as we will see, coming up, all that's gone on. We'll start, as always, with the new arrivals, of course, transfers in. The star transfer in was Andrew Thomas, who turned out to be our ever-present, goalkeeper. And he settled in quite nicely, played 54 games for us and got a 7.06. He wasn't the top average rating, though. Billy Sass-Davis, I think, was another good buy. In fact, got an A+. The board delighted with the deal to sign him. And he come from Crewe. 36 appearances, 11 off the bench, 6 goals and 1 assist, a 7.22 for him. Nathan Fraser we brought in on loan from Wolves, of course, basically because we wanted somebody to hit a barn door, which none of our other strikers seem to be able to do. Made 11 appearances, 4 from the bench, 9 goals from those 11 appearances, 3 assists. So he's, 12. Just certainly made up a goal a game effectively, and a 7.16 to boot. And the other player coming in on loan, Kedo Taylor Hart, came from Everton. 11 appearances, 3 from the bench, 4 goals and 2 assists, and an average rating of 7. He is ending his contract with Everton, so it'll be interesting to see if he becomes a free agent and whether we can pick him up or not. That's another thing. Liam Walsh came in from Swansea, 25 appearances, 7 from the bench, 2 goals, 6 assists, a 6.95. Reagan Griffiths from Crawley Town, 24 appearances, a 9 from the bench, 3 assists, 3.84. Harvey Griffiths on loan from Wolves, made 10 appearances, a 6.75. James Tilley didn't quite do as well as I thought he might do. James Tilley, but either way, he's still got a bit of time to come on. Hopefully he'll develop. 25 appearances, 8 from the bench, 5 goals and 1 assist, 6.71. Sam Burns, he was a real disappointment. The board were pleased to sign him. He made 24 appearances, 8 from the bench, 7 goals and 5 assists. I suppose it's not too bad, 6.71, but he wasn't no consistency about him, and the chances that he missed were quite galling, really. And then we had Rico Richards, West Brom, 7 appearances, a 6.61, and Saja Manafa, probably should never have brought him in. It was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. He had 1 appearance, a 6.20, and that was the last we saw of him. Quick look at the transfers out. Duncan Idoine, he's gone away to Crawley Town. He's probably been the best performer, 6.70. Nick McAllister, 6.45. Nobody performing. The one thing we don't want to do is lose any players and they actually go to their new club and perform out of their socks. And then it begs the question why they couldn't do it for us. That is the thing, really, isn't it? Loans out, loads of them. We're not going to go all over them right now. The results then, Sky Bet League One. The board expectation was to attempt to avoid relegation from League One. Well, as we know, we got promoted in second place. Average attendance of 5,495, 50% of the gate. Top goal scorer was Lewis Walker with 21 goals. Board pleased with the end result. Well, as I said, we'll do a deep dive into the table. We've had a quick look at this as well. So we'll do all that in due course. The FA Cup, we lost in the third round. It must have been the third round, is it? I don't know. Played Southampton anyway. No, we didn't. Wait, final position, third round. Be competitive. Yes, we did. So we got through the first and second rounds. A loss to Nottingham Forest in the third round. Again, 50%. Johnny Smith, top scorer, with 3 goals in that moment. Pivotal match, Southampton and Arsenal. I don't quite sure what that's got to do with it. I think that's a bug. Wasn't our pivotal match at all. The Carabao Cup, we were knocked out in the first round by Sheffield United, early days, 3-0. A little bit despondent, and we'll move on from that. The Papa John's Trophy, we won. I think our second attempt at having a go at that. Lewis Walker, top scorer on 6 goals. Board pleased that the team won the trophy, and there we go. We're Accrington Stanley, Aston Villa, under-21s and Mansfield in the group stages. And then we played Preston North End, Manchester under-21s, I think. Or was that a group match as well? That may well have been, I don't know. Was that a group match as well? Maybe it was 4 teams in the group. Anyway, worked our way through. Ipswich Town in the semi-final. Liverpool under-21s, who I expected to have a really tough game against, beat them 5-0 in the final. So cracking final that was too. The best win, 5-0, of course, against Liverpool under-21s. Match to remember was the 3-1 win over Shrewsbury. Walker, Omatoy and Bayliss own goal giving us the win there. The goal of the season was scored by Rafferty Pedder in the game against Derby County, a top draw goal from central midfielder Pedder as he hits a well-struck effort. Let's go and have a look at Rafferty Pedder's goal in this game. Goal of the season. And here is Walker going down the wing, crosses it, Pedder picks it up just outside in the D and puts it away. I'm not sure I could say that that's probably the best goal of the season, but that's been voted the best goal of the season, so we'll take it, I guess. Finances, we have improved our reputation. We were only a 1.5 star, we're now a 2-star regional. The reputation has increased over the last season. That's good news. One new deal on sponsorship, 20,000. Most notable deal is a 5-year deal worth 100,000. I think that's something to do with the new stadium. More about that later. Sponsorship was down last season from the 36k. Broadcast revenue was up, and I expect it to be up again this season. Corporate and hospitality was up. The prize money was down. Not quite sure how that came about. The match day commercial and retail was up slightly, and the total merchandise sales were 141,000. We sold 2,279 shirts. Walker top, Tilly, Mundell, Omatoy and Smith are the others. How we lined up for the season? This is technically our best 11. Thomas in goal. Linton, Smith, Sass, Davis and Tomlinson. Griffiths and Mundell in front of them. Omatoy, Tilly and Moss behind Lewis Walker up front. 4-2-3-1 wide formation. It's showing on here. Not how we ended up, of course, but that is the team that probably did us well in the end. Awards then. Sky Bet League 2 Manager of the Year in 24-25. These are from last year, which is very, very peculiar. Sky Bet League 1 Manager of the Month for December. And then Club Awards, Player of the Season, Billy Sass Davis, Young Player of the Season, Patrick Gamble, Sign-in of the Season, Andrew Thomas, Goal of the Season, we've seen it, Rafferty Pedder, Top Goal Scorer, 27 goals total, Lewis Walker, Most Assists, Perry Moss. He's a player. He's not got very big ratings, but he contributes quite a lot, and I'm suspecting will contribute quite a lot in the championship as well. Most player of the wall matches, 12 for Lewis Walker. Good season for him. Billy Sass Davis, highest average rating and the most passes completed in 90 minutes was Billy Sass Davis again, 64 competition awards. Tyrese Omatoy, a Sky Bet League 2. This is back from last season, of course. Player of the Year and top goal scorer from the League 2 days. Record breakers, Andrew Thomas had 22 clean sheets in this season. So just goes to show you, though we were a bit wobbly early on, seemed to level themselves out. And Duncan Ijohan was the highest transfer fee received. We got 45,000 for him. So there we go. The answers are 2-0 win against Mansfield. I'm not sure what that was all about. Buxton's Papa John's Trophy winners. Everything is won and lost in the heart of every season, and that's been the case. Buxton's, they celebrate winning promotion. As we said, that October through really did the business. Not going to look at that right now. That takes us through then. We're going to have a quick look at the transfers. I don't think there is any transfer activity at the moment. Nobody in since February. Nobody out since February. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump forward and we will come back on the 1st of June, I think it is, or we come back 1st of July. 1st of July. And we'll see if we've got anybody come in. Well, we're actually coming back on the 2nd of June. The only reason is I forgot to do the deep dive on the table for a start off, but also we've got news that Ipswich Town have beaten Derby County in the playoff final 2-0, which means they will join us in the Championship next season. Let's have a look at the table. We usually do here, of course, and go through it. We've had a quick look at how teams are finished. Obviously, if you've got a favourite team, you can see how they finished in this one. But let's have a look at the home record. Bristol City were best at home. 55 points they picked up home, only losing 2 matches against Ipswich and ourselves. Buxton, Peterborough second best on 49. Preston third on 46. We were 7th best at home, losing 3 games against Wigan, Preston and Morecambe, picking up 42 points at home. So that was our home record. Our away record, a lot better, albeit we did lose 5 games away from home, but it was second best to Bristol Rovers, believe it or not. 42 points for Bristol Rovers, 40 points for ourselves. Charlton also on 48. Bristol City not so good away from home. They only picked up 38 points. Derby 38 and Ipswich 37. Bradford, Sutton United and Crawley Town not doing particularly good away from home. Their home records weren't particularly clever either, were they? No. So generally all the way round, not good. I didn't want to do that, Mark. Let's go back. There we go. So they are the home records. First half of the season, Peterborough were flying, 47 points from the start of the season. Bristol City in second, Bristol Rovers third, Ipswich Town fourth, Bolton fifth. We were 6th at the halfway stage. We've climbed ourselves up the table. We'll have a look at the little graph to show how we climbed up the table. Shrewsbury, Crawley Town and Sutton United were the teams in the drop zone for Port Vale, Shrewsbury, Crawley and Sutton United in the drop zone at that time. So that was the first half of the season. Second half of the season, we were 3rd best. Bristol City having a cracking second half of the season. 49 points they picked up. Preston 47. We picked up 45. Barnsley picking up 42 points. Derby County 41. And again, the teams that went down had not a particularly good second half of the season either. That's how it finished. Last 5 games on the run-in. We were down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About the 7th best on the run-in. Barnsley were best. Derby County, Morecambe, Bristol City, Ipswich and Preston doing the decent thing on the run-in. Barnsley only drawing 1 match out there, 5. And we drew 3 and won 2 games from our last 5. Media prediction, of course, suggested that we would finish 22nd, 150 to 1. And actually finished in second place. Bristol City were expected to finish first. Ipswich expected to finish second, finished fourth, and obviously got promoted via the playoffs. And Sutton United expected to go down, as did Port Vale. Crawley Town were expected to just miss out, but have ended up going down. So they've not had a good way. What we will do now is just have a look at we can have a look in here, past positions. That's what we're going to look at. So how did our season go? Well, we started off not too badly. A 3-1 win against Wigan, a 1-1 draw against Peterborough, but this is where we started to go. Leyton Orient and 0-0, Port Vale 2-2, and then we lost to Morecambe, down to 15th. Managed to climb up a little bit after a good win against Forest Green Rovers, but again dropped away. Our low point of the season came on game day 11 in a 1-1 draw with Derby County. That was as we got into October, of course. As I said, October was the time when things picked up. I think just there. Well, there's a big gap. What's going on here then? 27th of the 9th, 21st of the 10th, match day 10. I'm not sure what's gone on there. But anyway, as you'll see, that was our rock bottom point. That's when we started to get a bit worried that we were going to drop into that bottom 4 and got very close to it. But from there on in, we never looked back. We never came back down to those depths, gradually working our way up by not losing, albeit we did lose there. No, we didn't. Beat Bristol City. That was a good turning point. And then we just started to climb up and away, got up to 5th place at the halfway point of the season, in 5th, a 4-1 win against Sutton United. Then we had a little bit of a blip and eventually got ourselves up, 4th, 3 win against Preston North End, and then up to 2nd place, bobbing down to 3rd a couple of times, but managing to hang on to that 2nd place, that automatic promotion place. Latterly, I think Peterborough were interesting because they were definitely top for a while, and they dropped away, as you see. Bristol City, apart from the early part of the season, once they got up there, were pretty much from about the 8th game in, either 2nd or 3rd, as well as being on top, and they hit the top on match day 25 and pretty much stayed there, opening up quite a gap over everybody else. Transfer wise, there's nothing going on at the moment. As you'll see, we have a few irons in the fire. We have Gary McDonald will be joining us on the 9th of June, as is Ismet Idrisi, but we'll look at those when we get through to the 1st of July. So here we are in the transfer thing that don't show up on the new season yet for some reason or other, but we have got 3 players in, or in fact 4 players in. Taylor Richards joins us on a free transfer. He comes from Queen's Park Rangers. Joins us on a free from them. So he has played in the championship. He's got championship credentials. As Taylor Richards, currently 3-star, has the ability to be a 4.5-star. He's an attacking midfielder, can play anywhere across the front 3, can also play in central midfield as well. And, I think quite versatile, looking for that another player to sort of really be in that support role up front there. So hopefully he will be able to do that. We'll look forward to seeing what he can do. I'm not quite sure why this keeps jumping back. We've brought a couple in potentially for the future. These were youth players from the bigger clubs that have been released. Ismet Idrisi comes from Chelsea. He's a young striker, way down the pecking order as it stands at the moment. Can play out on the right as well, but he got the ability. He's got 13 for finishing, and if we can work on him, there is a chance that he might come into the fold. He's got 2-star current ability, possibly a 5-star potential ability. So we'll see how he gets on. He's on contract for just 1 year as a breakthrough prospect. We do have, I believe, we have a clause in there. A 1 year extension. So if he's doing all right, we could extend his contract. So Ismet Idrisi is in. Gary McDonald's coming from Manchester United on the same deal. He's currently 2-star, potential to be a 3.5, 4.5-star potential ability. He can play in central defence. He can also play at defensive right back. Probably slightly better as defensive right back. Can also play as a defensive midfielder as well. Another one for the future, really. Another breakthrough prospect. Another one that we've signed just for 1 season with a clause for another season if he does okay, which I'm pretty confident he will do. And the other player coming in, he's experienced player, this one, Ashley Fletcher. He's come in. He was previously with Coventry, Wigan. He's been around Middlesbrough. He's got championship credentials. That's pretty much what we're bringing in. Come through the Manchester United Academy as well. So we're looking forward to seeing him. He's currently 4-star current ability. He's 30 years old, so he's not going to have any more potential. but he will appear as the number one on the left, number one on the right, and currently second in command to Nathan Fraser up front. Of course, Nathan Fraser, whether we can keep him for another season is another matter. But that is a good bit of business, I think. And the going outs, nobody in the series. Lewis Dobby has gone to Dundee United. I think we knew he'd already signed a pre-contract to go to Dundee United. So Lewis Dobby has left us. So they are the transfers. The fixtures are out, and we start off our championship campaign against Sheffield Wednesday on the 8th of August. We have a number of friendlies to play before then, and we've also drawn Watford in the first round of this season's Caribou Cup. And we halfway through the season, or round about Christmas time, we've got Reading on Boxing Day. We have Blackburn on the day after New Year's Day. And we finished the season at Brentford, who have been relegated from the Premier League. So we've got a tough end to the season. We don't want to be relying on that game at the end of the season to get us through. That is for sure. Otherwise, we'll be struggling. Right. We're now going to jump to the 1st of August, see what other transfer business is going, and then we'll finish up with a look at the new season. Well, not much to report. It's been a very quiet start to the transfer. Say start. We're nearly a month or more into the transfer window, and the only other player we've got coming in is a goalkeeper from Tottenham on loan for the season, Luca Gunter. He is current 3-star ability, 4 potentially 5-star abilities. Contract at Tottenham runs out at the end of the season, so there's potential, possibly. If he starts to perform well, then it could well be that he may come in as our permanent number one. At the moment, he's second to Andrew Thomas, but because we didn't have any more goalkeepers in our midst, mainly because I think we released. This doesn't show releases, does it? Released players. I think this is what we should have seen. Yeah, so this is the screen we needed to have a look at, because as you'll see, 2 of our goalkeepers, Ben Killip and Louis Molden, have been released, along with Zach Viner, Lewis Walker, who will not sign a new contract with us. He absolutely flatly refuses to. Sion Spence, Greaves, Andy Smith, again another one that won't sign a contract with us. Kieran Brown, Liam Walsh, Bobby Camwa, Kyle McDonald, and Daniel Pike, all being released or not given new contracts. So we're having a bit of a clear out, a bit of a spring clean. Let's say all a bit of a tidy up. I'm not sure why they don't show on it. Anyway, going outs, Manny Norquette's gone out on loan to Barnet, and Ben Dobry has gone out to Merthyr, also on loan. Otherwise, not a lot to tell you. A quick look at the schedule will show that we've played 3 of our pre-season friendlies, so we're sticking to the 4-3-2-1, 4-2-1-2-1-2. Losing 5-2 to Aston Villa. Bit disappointed that we were pretty much hammered in the first half. Managed to get a couple of goals back through Fletcher and Omatoy, but a lot better against Dunstable, 9-1 win. Harrogate, a 4-1 win. Good to see Ashley Fletcher getting on the score sheet. Nathan Fraser is on the score sheet. I think what we've done, because I'm not sure, let me just check a second. Nathan Fraser. Yeah. So what I doesn't show you on that screen, I think it's because we extended his loan as opposed to basically him going and coming back. We have extended Nathan Fraser's loan as well, so he is in with us for another season. So he's off the mark as well and up and running. You will see a number of trialists in. We're looking at possibly Adam May, Joe Lewis, Odofin, Oliver Casey, all defensive players. We're looking, I think, in that sort of area, really. could really do with a good defensive left back. Morgan Boyce seemed to fit the bill, but he's picked up an injury, so we're waiting for that injury to clear before we pursue that any further. But yeah, this is the current situation, and I say more defensive players. I think attacking wise, we've got with Ashley Fraser and Ashley Fletcher Nathan Fraser and the other player that we brought in, Taylor Richards, I think gives us a fairly good, with the players that still remain, of course, gives us a fairly good, robust squad as we head into the season. We're going to play the last of our friendlies, and we'll come back next with a heads up. We'll be right on the precipice of the season, and we're going to be looking to see if we can find the right screen. We'll be coming back and doing the pre-season preview. And yes, we come back with this screen. We are on the 7th of August. It's one day away from the start of the season. And we've brought 2 more players in. I think we mentioned them in the previous segment. Adam May comes in on a free transfer. He was previously at Shrewsbury, actually scored against us last season, annoyingly. But yeah, he's come in. He's currently 4-star because he's 28. Not much room for him to improve on that, but he can play as defensive midfielder, can play as a central midfielder, and if we change it up and go for attacking, he can play in that position as well. And you'll see he's number 1 if we play in that place. So all 3 positions that he plays in, he is number 1 in the squad for all of those, which is absolutely splendid. So we'll look forward to seeing how he does. He scored 1 goal for Shrewsbury last season. As I said, that was against us. That's Adam May then, and then we got Hakeem Odofin, and he is 28 as well, bit more experience. He is the first choice, probably left back, albeit he can play in central defence alongside Billy Sass-Davis, can also play in that defensive midfield as well, and also as a wing back, can also play in central midfield, where he's next best to Adam May, which is quite interesting. Currently 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability, so he's not going to change any. Come from Burton Albion, where he played 85 games for them, scoring 3 times. Not really expecting him to necessarily score goals, but if he can contribute and assists, then that would be rather splendid. He played at Wolves for a short while, but he has got championship experience with Rotherham, so I think that's another player that's got championship experience. I don't know about Adam May. Have you got... no, he's only played in lower leagues, really, so this is going to be a step up for him as we go in. So that is how that looks. Quick look at the schedule. We've played Glenavon in our final friendly of the season. Nathan Fraser getting 2 goals. Getting another brace. Oliver Casey, who we've also been looking at, has been on trial with us. He scored. And Joe Tomlinson from the penalty spot. So nice 4-2 win there, which takes us down to the game tomorrow against Sheffield Wednesday, which is the opener in the Championship. So our final thing to do in the Championship is to have a look at what they reckon. And you won't be surprised. But they think we're going to get relegated in 24th place, 350 to 1. So 150 to 1 last time out. We can stick that 150 on and see what happens to that 150. So 150, we'll get 350 times that back if we get promoted. Can we? I don't think we're going to get promoted. It would be good if we can sort of mid-table is where I'm looking for this season. Can't see anybody in here. We've got Adam May and Billy Sass-Davis as 2 players on the key players, but nobody in there has been out and outs. So that is how that's looking. I still think we probably need a couple of 3 players in. So we'll be working on that as the season sort of kicks off, as we become more aware of the areas that we need to reassure. And maybe as we get towards the end of the window, towards the end of August, if we've not brought in the players we want or can't bring them in, hopefully we can pick up a couple of loans to fill the gaps. We'll see how that all progresses. So expected to finish 24th. Where are we going to finish? Brentford, Southampton expected to go up, and then Watford, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United and Blackburn in the playoffs. Bristol City expected to finish 13th. It's a tough old league, is the Championship. We're going to be coming back for Sheffield Wednesday and our first round Carabao Cup tie against Watford. Join me for that one on the next episode, if you will. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, a roundup of our previous season, and looking forward to the next season. If you have, don't forget to leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That keeps you up to date with all future episodes of To Be a Legend. Chelsea stands proud, and any new series as we release them. If you want to keep up to date with what's happening on this channel, the best way of doing it is follow me at Just Offside too. New episodes of To Be a Legend are currently released every Monday and Thursday at 4:15 p.m. Before I say thank you, apologies that this wasn't released on Monday, but I had a bit of a hectic weekend and didn't get through. It just takes a bit of time when you record, when you're trying to work through to get recording for the transfer special. So apologies for not doing that. We're back to normal. Monday, our first exploits into the Championship and the Carabao Cup first round. Can we get off to a reasonable start or a good start, or is it going to be a bit of a wonky start? We'll see. Join me on Monday. Until then, it's a very goodbye. Goodbye.